No one can ever give you more than you believe you deserve. No one can ever pay you more. No one can ever respect you more. No one can ever love you more. No one can ever give you more than you believe you deserve. And so a lot of times in life, the issue with people is people complain about why they get so little. Why do you get so little out of life? What is it? Why is it that you get so little? Okay? And it boils down to one simple thing. You get so little out of life. You don't get the love you want because you really don't believe it. It's the standards that you've set for yourself. You want to get more, you have to raise your standards. You have to believe that you deserve more. And once again, I always tell somebody is that what do you want versus what do you expect? A lot of people want things, but really in actuality, do you really expect it? Okay? And that expectation is linked to the standards you have for yourself. What have you been willing to accept? What standards have you set for yourself? Do you ever hold your feet to the fire and say, I deserve more? And in that act of asking yourself, do you deserve more? Have you actually put more into your life? What do you really believe you deserve? Not what do you want. People can want stuff, but what do you really believe you deserve out of life? And then for a lot of people, the next question is, why do you believe you deserve so little? Why do you believe you deserve so little? Because the true secret to having a life that you really enjoy is based on, I told you guys that the other day, your non-negotiables, but it's based on your non-negotiables, but it's based on your standards. What standards have you set for yourself? And the secret to get more out of life is very simple. Raise your standards. No one will ever pay you more than what you believe you deserve. Because the truth of the matter is you don't even understand how to accept more than you believe you deserve. You see it all the time. People get confused. People act out when they get even in a relationship where they have a spouse, a partner that loves them more than they even believe that they deserve. They don't know how to accept that kind of love. They don't know how to accept that level of love. You get in a job, no one's going to pay you more than you believe you're worth, because you will always perform up to your level that you believe you're worth. What is the key? Once again, the key is to raise your standards. Raise your standards across the board. Believe that you're worth more. But in that believing that you're worth more, you have to then act like you're worth more. You have to think like you're worth more. You have to actually do things that people who are worth more do. Okay? And a lot of this can come from childhood, but once again, wherever you are, it's not a death sentence. At any point in time, you can start to believe that you're worth more. You can start to raise your standards. You don't have to continue to get what you get. That is what happens to most people. Most people resign to their fate. Most people resign to where they are, whether it's their health, their education, where they came from, their race, their sex. Most people just resign and say, well, I guess this is what it is, and they go through life. No wonder most people are not happy. If you want more, do more. I function from a different code. I come from a different, set of people. I understood earlier in my lifetime that if I wanted more out of life, very simple, do more. That's not to say that you're going to get it, but you highly raise your chances of being able to get it, receive it, and accept it by doing more, by believing more, by raising your standards of what you're willing to accept out of yourself, therefore what you're willing to accept out of life. You see it all the time. People are in poor health and they just accept their situation. If you don't like your health, change it. Do something. I see so many people that don't even have debilitating diseases, like diabetes, like high blood pressure, and they just accept where they are. No plans to change it. They complain about where they are, right? But they don't put any effort towards changing it. If you don't like it, do more. Do something about it. If you don't like being overweight, do something about it. You don't like taking high blood pressure medication all the time, heart medication all the time, diabetic medication all the time. Do not complain to me. Do not complain to anyone unless you have done everything in your power to change that. And everything in your power doesn't mean taking medication. Everything in your power is reading up, educating yourself, doing more, improving yourself. And usually when you do that, I'm pretty sure you won't be so dissatisfied with where you are because you will change it. But the reason why you haven't changed it is because you have low standards. Once again, it's not a death sentence. You can change that. Raise your standards. No one will ever, once again, pay you more, love you more, believe in you more than you think you deserve. No one. But once again, the fix to that is very easy. Raise your standards. I see a lot of people who are delusional about their lives. I talk to quite a few people who are, unfortunately. They're willing to complain about what they don't get out of life, but they're not willing to examine about how little they put into their life. Why do you believe that you're going to get more out of life than you put in? That's like having no gas in a gas tank, putting in $1 worth of gas and expect for it to drive you for a week. You didn't put that much into it. You're not going to get anything out of it. When you expect more out of life, when you have raised your standard, and by raising your standards, you need to also, once again, raise your actions. Now, there's an old saying, your expectations match your efforts. These standards that you have, that of the things you want. I see that all the time. People want to have this type of lifestyle. They want to have this type of spouse. They want to have this type of this. They want to have this type of that. But when you look, you see no evidence in their actions of what they claim they want, because they don't have the standards. They have the wishes, but they don't have the standards. Raise your standards. That is the key to your life. That is the key to your progress. That's the key to your happiness. That's the key to everything you want. Life doesn't give you anything more than what you've actually worked for. And even if you get it, you won't be able to keep it. Why? Because you don't understand what it takes. You're not worth it. You determine what you're worth. You determine what you're willing to accept out of life. And the moment you decide that I am better than what it is that I accept, the moment you truly decide that, you will truly start to put the efforts in. And when you start to put those efforts in, guess what happens? You start to get more. Why? Because you put more in. You also start to get more because you're not busy grabbing for the scraps of life. You're reaching higher for better. Why? Because you deserve more. You've worked for more. You've put more in. So more is better. You won't just take what's given to you. Too many people do that. You don't have to do that. You don't have to take what life hands you. Not if you know you're worth more. Not if your standards are higher. But you take it, you know why? Because your standards have not been high. You know you do not deserve more. Stop asking for life to give you more than what you think you deserve. Because even if you got your wish, and I've seen many people in life get their wish. They wish for things. They wish for this. They wish for that. And guess what happens when they get it? They squander it. Why? Because their standards weren't high enough. Their ethics weren't high enough. Their dedication wasn't high enough. Their belief in themselves wasn't high enough. Their standards weren't high enough. Very simple. Examine your standards, guys. Look at what you accept. Look at the things that you complain about. And truly ask yourself, why do you believe you deserve more? Have you put out more? Because something in there is missing. And usually it's your standards. What are you willing to accept? How do you change that mentality? Very simple. You have to work on yourself. Look at yourself. Honestly. Step outside of yourself and be objective. Okay? You will find where the gap is. You will find where the issue is. But usually and mostly that issue lies with you. Either A, you are not really worth that much, or B, you are worth that much, but yet you continuously accept less, which means that you don't see yourself as being worth that much. That's the easiest one to fix. Is when you don't when the problem is that you're actually worth more, but you keep accepting less. Very simple, raise your standards. But if you want more, and you know you're not worth what you want, build yourself up. Raise your value. That's the other part of raising your standard. Raise your value. How do you raise your value? Educate yourself. Grow yourself. Believe, first of all, that you're worth more. Okay? So, I don't know if that's a motivation talk for Monday, but I think it's necessary because I think that's the baseline of everything that goes with us. What are your standards?